are here today for a very privileged interview with Master Joe. Master Joe, thank you for joining us at Game On Magazine. If you could just introduce yourself to our viewers.
Thank you. I'm Joe Viljoen, Master Joe Viljoen. I have developed an organization called Ring Contact Fighting Art International. And through Ring Contact Fighting Art International, it tells you ring, contact, fighting arts. So everything that's in a ring. In 1987, we already had 6 and 8 corner rings in South Africa. So that tells you now what a stage now in life people are starting to use 6 and 8 corner rings. So South Africa was the first. But from that section, I was the first South African to become world champion in kickboxing. I have trained 9 world champions, and I'm still busy training people. I have game runs. I'm very, my passion is wildlife, conservation of natural resources, and that comes hand in hand with what we're doing. I mean, what we have as a human being, hands, feet, knees, all of that, it's what nature gave us, and they see how you're going to use that. So we apply these situations into today's life and into martial arts, and we have guys participating in all kinds of martial arts in the world. We don't stop anyone from participating in any place. We think the more experience you can build, the better, but there comes a point where you must specialize in what you want to do, because you can't have a million things and can't do one thing right.
Yes,
Go back to what you think, and of course what we're thinking of doing and doing already for the last 15 years, we take our top fighters to Pot University. We have a muscle density test as well as a lung capacity test. Through that, we as trainers then know what is the capability of the individual. That means if the density on the muscle is superbly, he can absorb much more shock, and that's what you need to know. But then the secondly is lung capacity. Can the guy do a 6-round fight, 8-round fight, 10-round fight, 12-round fights? Getting into the professional section, it depends how much you can absorb as a human being. So by scientific research, we have to this point now, it really brings South Africa forward in the world. And of course, it's the only world organization that is governed from South Africa. And this is fantastic for South Africa. I mean, Europe and America always had the big. And to get our people out there, we must expose them. In Africa, we can have the best, but if they're not exposed to the right promoters, the right trainers, and get that exposure, they will never go nowhere.
Has that been the challenge of kickboxing and ring contact in South Africa, is exposure?
Yeah, of course. You know, there's big challenges on that, but what I can say, people in South Africa is passionate about sport. And with the Arnold Classics which we have today, see how many sports is here today. It's fantastic. And you see how the people mingle with each other and talk and see what they do and stimulate interest. I mean, far more positive things in being involved in a sport than not.
So how much do you depend on something like this, like an expo like the Arnold Classics, to expose ring contact?
You see, ring contact fighting out expose all the other sports that don't know yet of the professional structures. They can see it. Tonight I promote here a professional world title fight. So that means there's no benefit to me as a promoter, because I pay all these fighters traveling expenses or wherever they come, and they're fighting monies. But that is to expose to everybody that's here that can see what is the capability of the sport. And we really finance a lot. We've got good sponsorship behind us. We've got a strong movement forward, and pay-per-view, of course, in the United States is getting they're getting the teeth close to want to sink it into what we're busy with. We must create idols.
Yes.
You know, to us, sport and in martial arts today, there's various structures, and we would see a clean, living sport. We want to see people training well, living well, and of course look at the educational side as well, because sport you can do to a certain age. From there you need to know the capability is going to go, but the brain can stay, and use that brain and your capability and the experience you have built up into the sport, that we can build the youngsters from tomorrow. And that's to conserve our natural resources, and of course to conserve our youth for generations to come.
Tell us a little bit about how you are developing ring contact in South Africa and the things we have to look forward to in the future.
Okay, that's very interesting. Ring contact fighting art consists of 5 elements. Number 1 is a karate system, which was built from the old Kyokushinkai system, which is a knockdown system. I like contact. You know, contact, you know, if you can and you cannot. It's a very good thing. Secondly, wrestling. I did wrestling for a long time. Judo, 2nd degree black belt, so we do the judo and all of that that's involved. Fourthly, ballet. ballet and modern dancing. Ballet is superb for balance, turning, flexibility and all of that is all part of our syllabus. And then fifthly, of course, boxing. More of the lateral movement than bob and weave, because in kickboxing you can't bob and weave. You can have a knee or a foot in the face, but lateral movement and deflecting and the distance between you and your partner. And that comes in with the dancing system as well. Is balance between you and your partner, distance judging, and of course accelerate the technique you want to accelerate in that specific situation.
And tell us about you. We spoke previously about a potential world hosting of ring contact.
Yes, and I'm so excited. I'm telling you, this is beautiful to look. In 1987, we've already had international recognition. Now, from then till today, now I can say with a proud situation, in the next 3 years, at this stage we are 37 countries that's affiliated to Ring Contact Fighting Art International, and by 3 years from now we'll have 60 countries. And then we want to bring the World Championships of Ring Contact Fighting Art into South Africa, where we can really boost our youngsters that, you know, in rural areas they can never afford to move to any country and pay their ways to do things. I want to bring those people here so that we can give our people in this country a chance to do something.
Are you developing ring contact in rural areas at all?
Absolutely. Oh yes. I've got development. Peter Apani, one of my guys. If you look at him, you'll see him today. He's been with us now 17 years. We've got a guy now in the rural areas like Thabo Setege. Look at this guy. Then you'll meet all of them here today. They all come and support what we're doing here today. And these guys, coming from a background where they stay in a shack, they're punching bag hanging next to them in a tree, that type of situation. And today they are gentlemen, well performed, well taken care of, and they can take care of themselves.
And for someone maybe who's watching this interview or is here at the expo today, how would you encourage them to get involved in ring contact, or what specific organizations should they approach?
Well, I would say people must approach an organization with good management. Very important. You know, firstly, what people need to look at is the absolute safety of the sport. Now, if I look at Ring Contact Fighting Art, why I'm using that? Because we manage it. We have spot checks on anabolic steroids and substances that cannot be used. And there's a lot of sports that don't do that. And I mean, that is the situation we got to look at. Now the sportsmen accelerate and use well, but he's using substances that's going to cost him a bad time in life when they get older. And that's not what we want to do. I want to sit with somebody, if I'm still alive then, and even if he's 70 or 80 and we can have a discussion and talk about it, then having his whole body gone about it. So with all the sport, and I know all of us want to win, but it's always not just the winner that makes something in life. The loser that has lost a specific fight, I can guarantee you has learned a lot, and if he pick up his head and think that he has been taught what to do and what not to do in that lesson that's been taught, and take that forward in life, in business, as well as in life itself, he will make a success in life.
That's very true. And what specific gyms or, I'm not sure, what do you call it?
Dojos.
Dojos.
Yeah.
What specific dojos do you recommend that people should get into contact with to get involved in ring contact?
There's a lot of dojos in South Africa that I can say, in Cape Town, all the provinces, the 9 regions of South Africa. We have people out there that is well trained. They come constantly on instructor courses, not just to teach champions, because only 4% or 5% of your people in your club will do something, but what about the rest? That's what we got to take care of, and those people can really make it by the end. But I must say, please make sure when you join a club that the health side is perfectly done, and then of course yourself and the instructor, you must feel comfortable with the instructor, and it's like a bond. You know, you're bonding with the person and you trust him, because mainly what instructors must understand, you as an instructor is playing or managing somebody's body. That's a big responsibility, and people must take that. You don't just put somebody into something because you think he's tough enough. That's not what it's all about. We as instructors must consider that really, to know that we are working and people is trusting us with what they have as a human being. So out there for all the instructors, a little bit of wisdom. Please take care of these people, because you know what? That's all what they have.
Yes, exactly. And Master Joe, I mean, especially with all we have to look forward to in ring contact, are there any specific names we should be looking out for right now?
Oh yes, The gentleman now that won the world title 3 weeks ago in Barnyard, he fought an incredible fighter from Europe, from Belgium, which fought in China, he fought in Thailand, he fought all over, came to South Africa, lost very nicely on points. It was a tough fight, but our guy out here, it's if you look at him and the guy that did it, I would really like people to look at him, is Brandon Michele. Now, Brandon Michele is somebody you're going to see. He's just turned a world champion at the age of 21.
All right.
He had over 100 amateur fights. So that tells you, he has 6 professional fights, won all 6 by knockout, and the last world title fight on points. But this guy, we have set him up to really pinpoint the best fighters we can get, to build him. Now we've got him into a stage, he's ready to take anyone in the world at that weight class.
Oh, well, we look forward to watching him. Thank you very much, Master Joe, for all you put into the sport, and you know, the way you're developing the athletes of South Africa to do something positive and constructive with their lives. So we wish you all the best from here.
And thank you as well. Without you and the media that could help us doing this, is fantastic, and your passion, I can see you love it too.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Master.